With his chief wife Börte, Mongol Emperor Chinggis Khan had four famous sons: Jochi, Chagatai, Ögedei and Tolui. They and their descendants shaped the following history of his empire and indeed the world. But lesser known are the five daughters Chinggis Khan and Börte had together: Qojin Beki, Chechiyegen, Alaqa Beki, Tümelün and Altalun. In this series, we look at the lives of these daughters, their roles in the Mongol Empire, and how shifting politics over the 13th century affected what information survived about them. In part 1 of this series, we give a quick overview of these five daughters, and in following videos go into greater detail in their lives and how we know what we know about them, as well as a few other daughters too. Though Jochi was Chinggis Khan's oldest son, Qojin Beki was the firstborn child of Chinggis Khan and Börte, born around 1180. Like her sisters, we know effectively nothing of her early life until 1202, when the still unwed Qojin was offered as a bride to a grandson of Chinggis Khan's ally, the Ong Han. The engagement fell through though when Ong Han and his son betrayed Chinggis Khan instead. A few years later, Qojin Beki was finally married to Butu of the Ikirs, a longtime ally and close friend of her father. Around the time Qojin Beki was born, Butu had been married to a sister of Chinggis Khan, but she appears to have died in the intervening years. After his marriage to Qojin Beki, Butu and the other husbands of these daughters received the title of Kurigen, son-in-law. As a Kurigen, Butu rose to greater prominence. He led contingents of his men in the Mongol wars in China, before dying in 1227 shortly after Chinggis Khan. Qojin Beki receives only sparse mention in the meantime. The last mention of her that I found was in 1236, being assigned revenue lands in northern China. Sadly, little other information on her survives. Her children with Butu continued to be important marriage partners for the Great Khans. Her granddaughter Hutuktai, for example, was the empress of Great Khan Mönke. The second daughter of Chinggis Khan and Börte was Chechiyegen, born around 1188. Like her sister, she goes unmentioned until her marriage. For her, this was to the Oirat, in the northwestern part of Mongolia. Unlike Qojin Beki, who seems to have lived rather quietly, Chechiyegen dominated the Oirat. Her husband's name is even uncertain in the sources, and sources of the 1250s like Juvayni speak of Chechiyegen sending Oirat troops to accompany Mongol armies, while later accounts like the Altan Topchi retain a tradition of the orders she was given for administering the Oirat. Chechiyegen also organized further marriages between her children and members of the imperial family. 6 of her 7 children, sons and daughters, married other Chinggisids and became Hatun in their own right, such as her daughter Orgina, who ruled the Chagatai Khanate over the 1250s. It is unclear when Chechiyegen died, but there is indication she may have lived long enough to see her daughters, like Orgina, rise to great power. Alaqa Beki was Chinggis and Börte's third daughter, born around 1189. Like her sister Chechiyegen, she became a proper ruler over the people of her in-laws. She was married into the royal family of the Ungut, a sedentary, Turkic-speaking, and Eastern Christian people in today's Inner Mongolia. There's much uncertainty as to how things went due to a number of murders and confusion over names. Most likely she was married in 1211 to Bayezpu, newly instated as ruler of the Ungut with the backing of Chinggis Khan, for Bayezpu's uncle Alkush had been murdered a short time before by an anti-Chinggis faction. Bayezpu then accompanied the Mongol armies into the conquest of northern China, where he died by 1219. This left Alaqa Beki in control of the Ungut. She married a cousin of her late husband and assumed the reins of government. Accounts like the Song dynasty envoy Zhao Gong in 1221 attest to Alaqa's role in the administration, turning the Ungut country into a strategic staging ground for the Khan's armies in their conquest of China. Alaqa Beki stayed in this position until her death, likely around 1237, when her son Ögedei took power over the Ungut. The fourth daughter of Chinggis and Börte was Tümelün, probably born around 1191. There has been a great deal of confusion over her husband's identity. Until recently, I was among those who thought she was wed to a man named Tolkuchar. However, this is not supported by the historical sources. Instead, she was first engaged to a lord named Dergai Amal of Takangrad, an enemy of Chinggis Khan who had submitted to him. But upon seeing Tümelün, Dergai insulted her appearance, an insult which he paid for with his life. The marriage then passed to Dergai's young son Chiku. To clear his family's legacy, Chiku had to earn Tümelün's hand through his service to the Khan. Chiku committed himself to the task and became one of the most ferocious generals in the conquest of northern China, well known for storming fortresses and personally climbing over the walls. Chiku's labors paid off and the marriage was finally arranged in the 1220s. After this, Chiku and Tümelün were given lands north of Tibet where they moved with their people and spent the rest of their lives. Their descendants remained in control of the area for the rest of Mongol rule in China. The youngest daughter of Chinggis and Börte was Altalun, born around 1195. She's often confused with another daughter of a secondary wife named Altun Beki or Al Altun. We'll deal with her in a following episode. Altalun is expressly called Chinggis Khan's favorite daughter. We have very little detail on her life. She is listed as being married to Olar of the Olkunut, a brother of her grandmother, Oalun. As Olar would have been quite old by the time of the marriage and no other information on it survives, likely this marriage, whatever its nature, was cut short by his death. Altalun then married Olar's son, Taichu. Taichu was a fellow much liked by her father Chinggis, who called him Chaorsechin. Few other details exist on Altalun's life or marriage, and this is probably intentional. In December 1241, her brother Great Khan Ögedei died, and Altalun was accused of poisoning him. After Ögedei's son Guyuk became Great Khan in 1246, Guyuk ordered 2 executions. One of Timuga, the last living full brother of Chinggis Khan who was condemned for trying to seize the throne, and Altalun, executed on accusations she had poisoned Ögedei. It is unlikely the accusations were true, but few references to Altalun's life survive. The entire incident was seen as particularly shameful by Guyuk's successors, and didn't like to have things written about her death or her life. So our knowledge of Altalun's fate comes only from brief mentions in 2 independent sources. The secrets of this event were taken to the grave by all involved. This has been a very quick summary of the lives of Chinggis Khan's daughters for those who wanted just the basic overview. But for those who want more detail and information on the sources and historiography, hang around for the next part in this series where we'll start delving much deeper into this matter.